Well, hello and good evening. How are you doing?
Not bad, Peter. How you doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, not bad at all. Getting there, getting there. Another week has passed.
I know. Flying
Which
in,
is,
flying in through March already.
I know. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Wonderful to see so many folk joining us already tonight. That's wonderful. If you could share the show about, that would be even better. Two fantastic guests for you tonight. We've got Gary West, the piper and presenter and professor. And we've got Douglas Montgomery, the fiddler from Orkney. So please share it about. It's going to be a great night. We're going to have some great fun. So what have you been up to?
Well, this week, carrying on with my studying, I've got that bridging course, the HND course at the National Piping Centre. I've got on the next stage of the whistle lessons with Kyle Howie in Dundee there. So he's in Perth, actually. So I'm starting to get a few tunes on the go with the whistle. Maybe at the end of the month, I might give you a wee change of pace and do some music on the whistle.
Magic. That sounds good. Yeah, so, and what have we been up to? We were swimming today, and Grace came as well today.
I've seen that. That's crazy.
Swimming in the North Sea, so that was fun. And then yesterday it was the anniversary. It was a 3-year anniversary when my dad died. So we have a tree that's planted up here in Shetland for him. So we were lucky enough to get to go and see that yesterday, and that's our kind of wee place to go up here. So it's really nice.
That must be one of the only trees in Shetland, is it?
It's got company at the place it's in. There is a couple. There's a lot of dogs hanging about as well, trying to pee on it. Happy that.
You've been busy as well. I've seen you on your Thursday night show. That's going really well, eh?
Seems to be the one for Music from Scotland. That's a good channel, folks, to watch out for. That was the other thing. Yesterday was the National Association of the Accordion and Fiddle Clubs competition. That was online, so congratulations to everybody that entered. And quite amazingly, I think they've had some of the biggest entries they've ever had. Remember, we were speaking about that before. There's online entries, and it's far more accessible for people from everywhere to compete rather than just being, stuck in one area. So they had a massive. So I noticed our previous guest, Gordon Shan's children, were first, second, and third in the section. So,
yeah, brilliant.
So congratulations to them all. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
It must be some house that with 4 accordions going all the time.
Busy old house, eh?
So well done to everybody. There was a lot of Shetland entrants as well, and they done very, very well. And there's Tony Rees joining us from South Africa. Good to see you, Tony. So thank you very much, folks. As I say, share about. That's some amazing numbers we've got already there. And there's Christine Donaldson. Brilliant, Christine. Lovely to see you. So lovely seeing all these people. We've got so many new names and folk that's been with. There's Mum Shand. There's Mum Shand. Ailsa. Ailsa has to put up with all these accordion players in the house. So anyway, brilliant to see everybody here. So I'm going to start off with a couple of wee marches tonight, I think. I'm going to play Helen Black of Inveran by Jimmy Ritchie. And I'm going to play one called Bobby McLeod's Welcome to Dumfries by Max Hullison. So it's a 2/4 written by a box player again. First 2/4 written by a fiddler on the pipe scale. Second 2/4 written by a box player on the pipe scale. So here we go.
And you've got your own box back, I see.
Yeah, well, this is the Victoria. Yeah, I was playing the white one this morning on my tunes for the day. I was on day 63 today, so I played the old white one today just to let her have a go. She's starting to come better and better. Anyway, here we go.
Take it away.
There we go.
Very good. Very good.
That second one's nice, isn't it? A wee bit different.
Yeah, really nice. We got some lovely comments up there.
Wee triplets floating about in the third and fourth part there. That makes it that wee bit unusual. It's good. So we're getting a set of tunes for you in the pipes, isn't it? Big pipes.
Yeah, you're getting another video actually tonight, and because of the pipe's not really holding up too well, so I'm very lucky, and I can't wait to show you and just say a few words about this. Actually, I was
Sounds
given
good.
these on Friday. Well, given for a few weeks, and I don't know how well my camera will pick this up, but this is the bass drone, and you'll see some absolutely unbelievable workmanship in this set of pipes that some of you might remember. See if we can get anybody guessing what the make of these are before we I tell you what they are.
Okay.
These are a set. I'm over the moon. I've always wanted to have a set of these or play these. These are brand new, and in every detail they're the same as the original. These are a set of David Glenn's pipes. A little bit of history about David Glenn. They started making bagpipes as early as the 1820s in Edinburgh, and they were always known for the craftsmanship and the design of their pipes. They've got a very uh, unique sort of look, beautiful lines, and an absolutely fantastic sound. Now, Glenn's in Edinburgh went all the way up into the 1900s, right up to 19.
That wasn't you just dropping them, was it?
No, nothing like that. Not in the night
Or
shift. But the family is
got a
very
load
much
of them by
a
dropped them live
family.
in air.
Yeah, they're very much a family company. Very high standard of pipes, very famous. And they went all the way up into 1979 from 1827, I think it was, making bagpipes. And at that point, when the business closed down, all the trademark design or the intellectual property was purchased by Kintail bagpipe makers. So that was back in 1979. So these are a brand new set of the Glens, made
Okay.
in every way identical to the way the
Same
old
spec.
pipes are made. And they're absolutely beautiful. If you go on the Facebook page, there's actually photographs of the pipes that didn't fall off the chair onto the floor there. Uh,
Really.
they're absolutely beautiful, and I've had quite a lot of pipes over the years, and instantly they've just I've never put them down since Friday. They're absolutely beautiful to play. So I'm going to play a
Oh,
couple of 3/4s for you tonight. The Bloody
yeah.
Fields of Flanders,
Uh-huh.
the Bloody Fields of Flanders, and another tune that I've pulled out of this wee number.
Yeah, that looks quality.
That's a quality book.
That's a quality pair of wellies.
That's a quality. That's a Yeah. And then I'm going to play one of your tunes, Peter. That's out the book, the very first tune in the book, Alistair George Rennie. There you go.
Oh, the wee
And the
three
Bloody
four.
Fields of Yeah.
Ah, super.
So,
I haven't written that many 3/4s, but I got asked to write one, so I did.
great. I love 3/4s, 9/8, 3/4s. Great.
Cool. Well, let's have a listen to them. This is the new pipes then.
This is the brand new set of pipes.
Excellent. Let's hear them.
Thank you. David Glenn, bagpipes made by Master Bagpipe Makers Kintail. Thank you.
Very nice. Whoa. I've never heard
Really
that
good.
tune before. Brilliant. It's lovely when
I
you
was
get it played in the
meant to say that I could see the video just for glitching, but anybody that wants any information about these pipes, if they're able to get in touch with sales at kintailbagpipes.com. Sales at kintailbagpipes.com.
Fantastic.
We'll keep you in the loop.
Brilliant. Sounding good.
Mm-hmm.
Sounding good. Anyway.
Great to play. I absolutely love them.
Nice. You can play the pipes a bit, but I'd never played it in the pipes. I wrote it in the accordion, so it's nice to hear it on the pipes. It's cool. Great. If anybody fancies my book, you can go to Peterwood Music and you can get my book. That's book 2, isn't it? The Welly book. Book 2. There we go. Brilliant. Well, we have fab guests and we're going to get one of them on right away. Who shall we bring on first tonight? We shall bring on...
I think we'll bring on Gary West.
Just get that man on here.
Yeah, man.
Hello, Gary. How are you doing?
Hello. How are you doing?
We're good. Now, folks, you'll notice it says along the bottom there, Gary and Charlie West. That's because Charlie is there somewhere.
Yes, he's somewhere.
We'll maybe get a chat with him later on as well. Good evening, Gary. Are you well?
He's in my bottle of whiskey at the moment, so he's been waylaid, but he'll be...
Okay. Are you well?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well indeed. Enjoyed your tunes, both of you there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have you been stealing bagpipes again, Ross McNaughton?
I have, very successfully, I might add. I've only got them for a month, so I'm going to do a feature every week.
Well,
he's not going to be able to give them back now after dropping them. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yeah, it's folks. I don't know. Gary's been on the show before with us, not this show. He was on the show when we went through Canada. That's a wee while ago now, Gary, is it? It must be about 9-10 months ago.
Yes. I was going to say it must be not a year or so. I think early in lockdown, was it? I think, yeah.
Yeah, it was because it's actually amazing. Last night that's a year ago. Last night since I've done a gig with a band. Yeah, that's the whole year gone, and somebody was just on the phone cancelling their wedding in October there. So I thought, oh no, here we go again. So, but here's hoping.
It's been a busy year for you guys, though. You're
been very busy. We've embraced this internet stuff and enjoying it a lot. And I think you're going to be doing some of that soon now. Because tell us, you've had a wee bit of change in circumstance since we saw you last.
Aye, yes, I'm now freelance, so I'm now trying to sell people things at every opportunity. But after almost
like Rolex watches and things.
Yeah. Actually, I've got some here. But so I after nearly 30 years at the University of Edinburgh, I hung up my pen or my gown or whatever, and decided it was time for a change. So that was very recently, just at the end of January there. So I'm in my first few weeks of freedom. But I've been there actually since I was about 18 because I was a student there, and then I became a staff member. So it's quite a big change. So I'm currently out in my wee bothy, which I'm renting just outside Edinburgh as a new base because I've needed somewhere to put all my books that were in my office and use it as a wee base. So just on the shores of the Forth, just outside Edinburgh. So. Hoping to have lots of sessions and parties in here once that's allowed.
Yeah. Well, that's amazing because the first I met you was when you were just at university when you were studying as a student. That's how long we've known each other. And look at that, you're retiring and I'm still having to work.
Yeah. I'm not using that word, Peter. I'm not using that word. I'm far too young.
Yes, I was thinking you are far too young to retire.
But
it's been a really interesting time, I'm sure, though, in the university. I'm sure you've had a great time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it's as I said, it's been a major part of my life, and through the School of Scottish Studies, which does some fantastic work. And actually, it's celebrating its 70th anniversary this year. It was founded in 1951 as well, I'm sure many people know that, but as a centre to research and teach all about the cultural traditions of Scotland. So, and it's still going very strong. There's hundreds and hundreds of students every year come through the place. So yeah, I think look out for some events through the year to mark its 70th anniversary. Yeah.
Brilliant. And then the other thing we done way back in that day was I took the car up to Muirton Park, the last St Johnstone game at Muirton with you guys, and then of course St Johnstone's won the cup last weekend, so you'd have been happy chaps.
We're second most successful team in Scotland over the last decade now. Even despite today's win for Rangers. But no, that was lovely last weekend. Shame we couldn't get a day out to it because it only happens twice in 168 years or whatever it is. That was nice.
Look, I'm going to, Ross, if you would, I know Ross has got a wee delay hearing us here, so he's probably frightened to jump in. So go for it. We'll wait for you.
No, my internet is it was difficult to hear some of the stuff you're saying, but it is, you must be enjoying retirement, I think, as a musician. Yeah, I don't think you'd ever get bored, really. You're a man that's kept himself very, very busy, but this bit of extra time will suit you to do these projects that you'll not have been able to get to, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm still doing Pipeline on BBC Radio Scotland on Saturday evenings, and I'm working on that 2 days a week, actually, because Ian McInnes retired last year. He's been at the helm of that programme for many years, 30 years. So I'm now putting all the music together for that, or most of it, certainly. So, yeah, that's keeping me busy a couple of days a week or more, actually. By the time you think about listening to all this great new music from time to time and put the programme together, you know all about that. So, yeah.
And obviously, a lot of the programme with Pipeline, you're dealing with, well, solo piping and pipe bands and anything else related with piping. So it's been quite a strange year in that respect for competition, etc., etc. So it'll be interesting to see what comes out of it all in the end.
Yeah, it's been a strange year. I've been doing it all from home, actually, to save going into the studio, and so I've got a bit of an archive at home. But yeah, it's quite difficult. Obviously, normally we would have people coming into the studio and recording sessions and so on. That's not really been possible through lockdown. But yeah, it's amazing how much archive stuff there is out there. But it's also, you want to keep it fresh and use new material as well. So yeah, it's tricky just getting that balance. And of course, the piping audience are they know what they like and what they don't like, and you get the kind of solo trad people, you get the pipe band people, but actually most people who listen aren't pipers, and so you've got to kind of cater to a general audience as well. So yeah, it's I love it.
They're obviously listening because they enjoy the music and they enjoy hearing the melody, etc. But between you and I was thinking this year, if the pipe band season ever opens up at any point, I'm going to put a $5 on the New Zealand bands getting into the places this year because they're about the only bands that have been able to practice.
Well, we won't be letting them in, so it'll be fine.
Listen, how's about we have a wee track? I noticed one of my friends there, Brian Forrest, was on earlier on there. He's down in the borders of Scotland, and that could tie in with this wee track I was hoping we could play. I was listening to earlier one you've sent me, the Jedburgh Baw. The Jedburgh Baw. What can you tell me? Is this any relation to the Orkney Baw? Is it the same idea, or is it?
It's exactly the same idea as the Kirkwall one. Yes. So at one time, pretty well every town and village throughout Britain actually had these traditional street ball games. And it survived just in a few borders towns and in Kirkwall. So basically, as anyone from Kirkwall will know, the town splits in two uppies and doonies, and the idea is that you you basically try and get the ball. The ball's thrown up in the middle of the town, and then you try and each team tries to bring it back and hail it at their end of the town, as it were. Yeah. And almost certainly that's where football and rugby and so on came from originally. But as I say, it survived in Kirkwall and in some of the border towns, especially Jedburgh. So this was a competition the Lowland and Border Piper Society held a few years ago to write a new tune in the border style. So this was my entry. So, aye.
Well, I think Isla Stoopt is going to be watching tonight, she told me, and she's a great fan of the Baw, of course, because she's from Orkney. And her father actually won the junior Baw 1 year there. They were kicking the Baw about one day outside. I was highly impressed. So we'll get and she's a Dooney, so you're right. So I'm sure she said, come on, the Dooney. So that's it. So yeah, so we'll have a wee listen to this track. This is great. This is you and Charlie Boy.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, brilliant.
Hey. Hello again, welcome back to the Green Couch Sessions, back to Charlie and Gary, and thanks very much to Robbie and Colin Matheson for their contribution on cello and on guitar. Great stuff. And back to small pipes and guitar, and a tune I composed a few years ago, very much in the border tradition, or I suppose a modern take on the border tradition of the theme and variation kind of tune. So the border piping was very popular at one time, and they liked these bellows pipes in particular. So this is, it's called the Jedburgh Baw Game, or I suppose if you're from the area, it's called the Jeddart Baw Game. Nice finish, Charlie. Nice finish. Rock and roll. Thank you very much. That was the Jedburgh ball game. See you next time. Cheers. Why did I do that?
Hey, fantastic. Lovely tune.
Thank you.
Lovely tune.
Charlie's very embarrassed seeing himself do that at the end there. But.
Well, the green couch sessions, just for the folk that's seen that coming up, that's something you've been doing through lockdown as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately, we didn't last as long as you guys. We got rather busy doing other things. So I think we did about 15 of them early in lockdown last year. But we're just saying it's time to resurrect them, I think. The only problem is the green couch is now in the skip. So it's going to have to be a grey couch session. But
that may jinx it. Listen, have you got any plans to do any more podcast stuff or anything like that as well?
Yeah. So funny you should say that, Peter. But
right.
yeah. So I wrote a book a few years ago called Voicing Scotland, which was all about folk culture and traditional music and so on. But the trouble about writing a book, of course, about music is you can't hear it. So I'm going to try and take that off the page, as it were, and put it onto the airwaves. So yeah, I'm starting a podcast called Voicing Scotland. So just something similar to what you guys are doing, but bit of music, bit of chat, looking at anything cultural really that's to do with voicing and instruments of voices, of course, but bit of history, oral history, literature, just the whole
well, I mean, on my own, that's what we've found very interesting about doing this and having a lot of guests on, and I think a lot of the audience have found interesting. Hearing background to stories, to tunes, to music, to where it came from, what we know about it, and you're in the right place to do that since you're a professor of the thing. So you've probably got a lot more stored away there, stories than even we have, this kind of thing. So, but you've probably got the true ones. We've probably got the made-uppy ones.
The made-up ones are often better, aren't they? So yeah.
There's a few up in Shetland that I've seen on the how you said it the last time you were on Tobladochus. How do you say that? Yeah, that site, which is really worth going on and reading about. But there's all these old folklore stories and things with Shetland on, and there's some absolute crackers, And I was saying to somebody one day, and they said, "Yeah, but that old boy that told them used to write them every week, nearly, So, but really good. Are you hearing us at all, Ross? Ross has been on the phone. He's got a bit of kind of bad connection.
No, I've dropped in and out a few times, but you mentioned projects and you mentioned Voicing Scotland book. I've read that book. I read that book a few years ago. It's an absolute topper of a book. If you've got any, even if you're a very learned person of your instrument or other instruments or multi-instruments or history, it's a fantastic book. It's not a huge book either, is it? It's a very loads of information packed into a good sized wee book, and that is great to hear that you're going to do that as a podcast, or how you're going to do that.
Hey, well done.
Yeah,
Gary, where can folk buy that book from?
Yeah, so I've got a new website up and running. It's just garywest.scot, and we've just got a shop open there. It's just about to open, putting the final touches. So there's various CDs and books and so on there. So you'll be able to get it there, certainly. And possibly only there, because I think I bought up all the last of the stock. So, yeah.
But you made your own book a bestseller.
By buying them all, yes. number one in the charts.
Yeah. Pop groups used to do that in the old days, didn't they? Buy up their own singles to get number one. Brilliant. So, but I think a show like that will be fantastic. Have you got a name for that show, or roughly when you think you're going to be up and on the go?
Yeah, it's going to be called the Voicing Scotland podcast.
Brilliant.
And where are we? I'm aiming for April to get it. I've got a few things still on the go to get out of the way first, but yeah, hopefully April. So yeah, watch this space.
Folks, watch out for that, folks, and any followers of Tartan Tunes. Once that's up and running, Gary, I'm sure, can share it over to Tartan Tunes, and you can start following that show as well. The more, the merrier of these kind of shows, and especially in the climate we're in just now. But I think we're finding that there's so many people actually nearly panicking that they're thinking, what's going to happen when this pandemic's over? Is this all going to disappear? Because they're really enjoying this shows on the internet and things. And I think it's just one of the things possibly that is naturally going to change a wee bit. I think we'll still do live music, but I think we are going to do more we've found out how to use this platform, and it's good. It's a good platform to use. We're reaching people all over the world, and it's letting folk get on. So another show would be brilliant. Yeah, I'll sign up. I'll subscribe. And so will Rod.
So will I.
When he's not dropping his pipes, he'll. But listen, you've got a very successful family here. Charlie plays guitar, fiddle, and Ailey's your daughter. She sings too, doesn't she?
She does, yeah. They're both actors as well, but there's not an awful lot of acting around at the moment. So, Ailey's a very, very lovely singer, as you might hopefully hear shortly.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was wondering if we could use one of the other Green Couch sessions you sent me was a song, and it was Alien. It's most beautiful. And could you tell us a wee bit about that song?
I could if I remember what it was. Oh, I think it's Angels, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Angels by Sarah McLachlan. So it's a bit of a dark theme, actually. She wrote it after I think it was her bass player. So Sarah McLachlan, very well known kind of country pop singer, and her bass player took his own life, sadly, and she wrote it after that. So it's I think in my wee introduction on the video I talk about that a wee bit. So it's a lovely song.
Let's cover it. Okay, let's have a wee listen to that. It's lovely. It's good.
Hello. Hello, welcome back to the Green Couch, and back by popular demand is Ailey West. And after the silliness of yesterday, we're going to do a slightly serious song. A lot of people will be struggling just now, as we know, dark times, and darker for some than others maybe. And well, this song's about suicide essentially, so that's dark enough, but we need to look out for each other right now. I'm sure we all are doing that. So this song is called Angel by Sarah McLachlan.
Spend all your time waiting for that second chance, for a break that'll make it okay. There's always some reason to feel not good enough, and it's hard at the end of the day. blistering light, and everywhere you turn is vultures and thieves at your back. The storm keeps on twisting, keep on building the lies that you make up for all that you lack. It don't make no difference. Escape one last time. It's easier to believe in the sweet madness. Oh, this glorious sadness brings me to my knees in the arms of the angel. Fly away from here, from this dark, cold hotel room, and the endlessness that you feel. You are pulled from the wreckage of your silent reverie. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here. You're in the arms of the angel. May you find some comfort here.
Nicely sung, Eddie. Thank you. See you next time.
Wow. Wow, fantastic. My goodness. What a voice.
Yeah,
Wow.
she's good. Good, really. She's very good.
Really. Really. No, that's fantastic. I've never seen so many comments coming and just said fantastic. Really.
That was a beautiful song. One of the things that I always think when I see family singing together or playing together, that there must be like an additional kind of bond or an additional kind of feeling in when you're all playing together. And certainly in big, powerful songs like that, you can see there's so much heart, and that is beautiful.
Thank you. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, it's lovely to get the chance to play with your kids. So yeah, thank you. Thanks for all the lovely comments.
Sometimes when I try to play with mine, they tell me to go and get stuffed. My little boy Angus is 6, and sometimes when I pick up the accordion, he just looks and goes, "Oh no, Dad, no, just enough. Don't do it." So, but it's brilliant. So, anyway, well, that's fantastic. So that's the podcast. Any more books? Any more writing going to come about? Do you think? Or?
Yeah. So the other thing I'm working on at the moment is a biography of Martin Bennett.
No.
Many people watching, I'm sure, will know of Martin Bennett. So, the Martin Bennett Trust. So basically, Martin's family after he died. So he died in 2005. It's hard to believe it was that long ago. He was 33. So a tragic cutting short of an amazing talent. So the trust asked if I would write his biography. So I've been at it for quite a while now, and that's one of the things that I just had to shelve really when I was full on at the university. So I'm just resurrecting that now. I actually did a program about him last weekend on Pipeline. It was all about Martin, the full program, because Martin would have been 50 this month, which is hard to believe as well. You know, still think of Martin as a wee laddie. But just an amazing musician, and he packed so much into his 33 years. So yeah, that's the main writing project at the moment. Hopefully get that finished and out later in the year. So yeah.
I think the thing about Martin was, he was so innovative, wasn't he? And he just his mind was thinking, what can I do here that's different next, nearly all the time. But he done but done tastefully and done. It wasn't just a let's do something different for the sake of it. It was just fantastic.
Yeah, some of that stuff he did. It's so easy to do badly and so difficult to do well. And Martin, he just had the knack. And well, it wasn't just a knack. One of the things I'm discovering researching about Martin and speaking to a lot of people who knew him well and worked with him is how meticulous he was. He that thing about being 99% perspiration was absolutely true in Martin's case. He just worked so hard. He would sit up for 24 hours trying to find one little sound in that he just wanted, that was just the right one, as well as having all that natural talent as well. So yeah, he was an amazing guy. So it's a great privilege to be writing a book about him.
But it'll be very interesting to hear other folks' takes on things as well.
I've read quite a lot of recordings of Martin Bennett on the small pipes, and I often listen to it and I think, he didn't record these in the like auto-tune days or a lot of the digital stuff that he could have. That was his sound, and it's an incredible sound. It's absolutely, like you said, it is. It's at 100%. He's worked hard to get that beautiful sound. And there's loads of musicians that are like that, but that's, like you say, on the small pipes, it's easy to hear that's something that he definitely mastered. Definitely got everything out of that instrument, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
Do nipping back, just backtracking here a wee bit to singing and the voice, and lovely to hear you singing there as well. And I know you do quite a bit of singing. And for me, the first I came across singing, really, I was always very instrumental based, was when I met you guys in Edinburgh. And you guys done this thing where you played tunes and sang songs. And I thought, wow, this is something new. And then actually listened to the words in the songs and thought, wait a minute, there's a history story going on here as well, which was kind of fantastic. But that was my first remember Away with the Pipe Band and all that. The Vale used to have a wee choir going in the bus and things. Quite amazing. It was.
Yeah, there were a lot of good singers in the Vale of Atholl. And we used to listen when we were away with the band in the early days, in the days when buses had a cassette machine. And wee speakers all the way up the back, and we were listening to Tannahill Weavers, Battlefield Band, Bothy Band, all these bands of the day, Silly Wizard, and we were just listening to great songs, that era of the folk revival, I suppose. So yeah, there was a lot of great singers in the Vale. Yeah,
because I remember even going when we. Do you remember we done a wee trip to Germany once? We played in a superstore or something.
Yeah, I was just talking about that today, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I played the accordion, and there was yourself and Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Katie with the harp?
Katie Harrigan, yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we done that thing. That was hilarious. The Harrods of Berlin.
Yeah. I had to address the haggis 4 times a day on the top floor of that department store, I remember, with very large drams each time. So that was a great trip. That was
Yeah, it was quite interesting the way we had all to pile into a bus, like a public service bus to go to the gig and things, and all built on and things, and accordions and pipes, and get chucked off at this place. And no, it was a lot of fun. I remember you guys taught the accordion player. I was fascinated by Pumpkin's Fancy at the time, and he's actually taught me how to bend a note in the chanter. So for an accordion player, that was a great achievement, But I remember being over there. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with that one, and Yeah, good days. But even then, yeah, we were all singing and there was stuff going on all the time as well. It was really good. But when you started with the Vale, you were one of the initial young players, weren't you, that came through with that band that came right through from the bottom right to the top kind of style thing.
Yeah, so when I started, there was no junior band or juvenile band, and several of us. I think I saw Sharon's name come up there earlier,
Right.
and so yeah, there were about sort of 4 or 5 of us from Pitlochry at that time. Malcolm Robertson, as you mentioned, Gordon Duncan, of course, and then Ian Duncan had been teaching in Crieff, so there was a whole contingency from Crieff as well. And from Perth, and so these were good days, sort of late 70s. Well, I first joined in 1975, I think, or 76 or thereabouts. So great days.
Yeah, it was a fantastic story that the band had coming right up through, and a very musical band, as you said earlier. Everybody was into playing different instruments and big whistles and all sorts of things, and it was real great fun being round the band at the time. It was, and then I ended up in Sicily with them for a couple of weeks, and I've never been the same since.
Yeah. The Sicily trips that's for another night, Peter. I think we better leave this.
Yeah, and then and of course you're in the Atholl Highlanders along with Ross as well.
Yeah.
I see Ross has got a promotion, I noticed.
I've got a tie on anyway.
Tell us, what's your promotion this week? What have you been made?
Is that Ross? Are you speaking to Ross?
Yeah.
He's pretending he's not hearing you.
We've got a glitchy. Yeah, there's been a mention of a pipe corporalship, but I don't think I'm the only one.
Aye.
Well,
Dude, aye. So I noticed there's a few Atholl Highlanders on tonight too, which is great.
Yeah.
Good evening, gentlemen. Putting out RSM. So nice behaviour.
There's a name just flashed onto the screen there that everybody knows.
Gus Clark, yes. He has the trump, Pipe Sergeant.
Is Gus the Pipe Sergeant with the Atholl Highlanders?
Yes.
Okay. Oh, wow. It's quite a pipe band, really. Actually, there's a lot of good players on there.
Yeah, it's a really good band nowadays. Actually, there's 2 or 3 gold medalists, 3 gold medalists in the band. A lot of Grade 1 pipe majors, at least two former senior British Army pipe majors, and then there's Ross and me.
A Queen's Piper in there as well. There's a Queen's Piper in there.
Queen's Piper, yeah. So it's great crack. And I just saw a message a little while ago from Jean Swanson, saying that her dancers, Jean, your dancers were there as well. They were indeed. It was the Karstadt store, if I remember correctly, and there were definitely a couple of dancers.
What a memory! What a memory! I couldn't remember what that place was called, but I do remember going to Checkpoint Charlie. The wall was still up at the time when we were there, and I do remember going there and inquiring, could we play the pipes on the wall? And we were told at your own risk. So that was the end of that. So we didn't push it. Wow. That's amazing then. There's a wee connection with Jean, because we had Jean on the show as a guest one night, and I didn't know. Her dancers were there at the same time, so there we go. That's amazing.
Yeah.
See, when you were talking earlier as well, you were talking there about let's say Davy Spillane and things like that, and they were big influences on all those guys at the time, Tannehill, Weavers, all these bands. But Spillane especially, I remember us all been totally kind of fascinated by this new kind of sound that was coming out, and it was all the accompaniment, etc., that they were using, and just kind of broaden it. And I think the other video you sent me here is a kind of couple of Spillane jigs. Is that right?
I think it is, yes. So yeah, we were listening a lot to Spillane and the Moving Hearts in particular, and so yeah, I think a couple of tunes, Haggett the Churn and the Lark in the Morning, I think is what I sent you from
Brilliant.
one of the sessions. So yeah.
I think we'll grab a wee listen to them before we have to say cheerio to you tonight. But we'll see you in a wee minute, and we'll have a wee listen to these tunes. That'll be great.
Right.
Hey. Hello, welcome back to the Green Couch. We've had a wee while away. Day jobs got in the way. We've had a week off, as in a week off.
Not a week off.
Not a week off. No, we're both fine. But we're back now on the Green Couch, and a couple of jigs here on tenor guitar and Scottish small pipes. Like most kind of folky pipers of my generation, I suppose, I was greatly influenced by Davy Spillane and the Moving Hearts. And here's a couple of tunes. I think they were both learned from listening to them. Certainly the second one was. Perhaps both. Can't quite remember. It was a long time ago. But
But between a folky piper and a piper.
Between a folky piper and a piper. You don't want to get me started on that?
That's the wrong question.
Discuss. So the Lark in the Morning is the second tune. Here we go. Good. Thank you very much. See you next time.
Fantastic. By the way, there's a book in there, isn't there? I love that question for Charlie. What's the difference between a piper and a folky piper?
There's a full thesis. Come in, Charlie.
Yeah, that's a PhD and a half. That.
I'm going to get Charlie to come and say hello since his name's on the screen. So.
Please do. Hi, Charlie. Come on.
Now that he's finished a bottle of whiskey.
Well, excellent. As long as you've made use of the bottle of whiskey, Charlie, that's excellent. That's
Absolutely.
good.
Absolutely.
Are you keeping well? Are you doing fine?
Oh, fine. Yeah. Just doing
That
away.
was most excellent playing there. Absolutely enjoyed by people all over the world.
Good.
There's
Cheers.
a-
Yes.
There's a huge audience watching us here tonight, actually, which is utterly fantastic. So, listen, folks, you guys, before we let you go, can we just check a couple of things? The best place to find out what's happening with the new podcast and that, will you guys putting that onto the website and things like that as well?
So if you go onto the website, there's one of these sign-up newsletter things. So I'm going to be doing a regular newsletter. The first one coming very soon. So yeah, if anyone wants to keep up with what's happening, just go onto that website there. You can see it on your screen. If you want to sign up for a newsletter, it'll keep you all posted. And if you sign up for the newsletter, there's a free track going of a brand new tune that I've just written. So, many of you will know Finn Moore and Sarah Hoy, wonderful musicians, and they had their first child just earlier this year, Katrina. So wrote a wee tune called Katrina's Welcome, and Charlie and I did a version of it. So there's a free download if you sign up to the newsletter. See, I'm getting all into this business. Look at
the abuse you're getting online. Look at it, a West with hair.
West with hair.
Charlie liked that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's good part of that. I like that.
Don't encourage Rory McDonald for anything. Okay.
Listen, guys, thanks so much for coming on the show tonight, and please take care. And Ross, are you with us at all? Ross is having an awful bother with internet, but are you hearing us still?
Not very well at all. I must apologise. I had loads of things I'd like to have asked. And hello to Charlie. Nice haircut. Thanks for coming on the show. And good luck with your new ventures, Gary. I'm sure I'll see you all soon.
Yeah, and please remember, Gary and Charlie, keep us up to date on it. Use our Facebook, everything, and please publicise yourselves as much as possible, because that would be wonderful, because an awful lot of our audience will enjoy the kind of music you're going to be presenting as well. It'll be fantastic. Yeah. Guys, thank you very much. Line me your limerick.
Yeah, cheers. Guys. Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Cheers.
Bye. Bye.
Hi, Ross. Are you hearing now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Just through that interview there on my internet, I couldn't hear anything that was getting said at all. I'll need to watch it back.
Let's pop headphones back on just now, and then we'll do that. There we go. So there we are, folks. So absolutely wonderful musicians. What a wonderful family that must be to be part of, to have music going, all sorts of stuff going on. Brilliant. How are you doing now, Ross? You hear me?
I can hear you. Yeah, loud and clear. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, we're hearing you. You've got a little bit of delay, but you're fine. But you're all right. You're all right. So there we go. Karen will be able to tell me, hopefully, is Douglas about yet, or is he? There he is. Let's bring on our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Orkney, Douglas Montgomery. Woo!
Hi, how's it going tonight?
Not bad, yourself?
Good, yeah.
See that, you even got a round of applause. You remember what that feels like?
I wasn't sure what that meant at all, no. I never got much of that anyway.
I don't know about that. There's plenty going. How are you getting on?
Yeah, doing fine. We're just, I suppose, semi-lockdown like everybody else here in Orkney. We're lucky enough that we're in level 3, which is a wee bit more freedom, but no very much, but enough that we can just get on and do as much as we can.
Well, that's right. At least some of the shops and things are open and things like that at least you can get into some things, you know. So the same way us up here in Shetland, we're in the same boat as you as Orkney, but of course there's not very much. There's no music really going on at all. All the music's getting done online just now, and that's. I doubt that's going to be that way for a wee while by the looks of it, but we'll just have
Yeah. Aye, there's not been just an awful lot of music going on. I'm lucky
No,
I kind of, like same as yourself, Peter, I kind of work in the schools here, or
Yeah.
normally in the schools, but this last month or two has been pretty much on the computer screen doing face-to-face lessons via Teams, which has actually been mighty fine to see the bairns and to hear
Yeah.
them playing and just have that pretty bit of communication going back and forth. It's felt like there has been some music on the go, so that's been really
Well,
good.
we use a thing called V-Scene, so
Yeah.
we're actually, we can play nearly in tandem with them online. So we're just one-to-one lessons have been carrying on, and any of the kids that have been in school with key workers or that, they can get it in the school. So I've still been sitting at home teaching all over the place. So,
Yeah.
but it's got its advantages sometimes as well. You can cover a lot of ground with different things, and
Yeah. I mean,
but
which just
it's sometimes.
Sorry,
I think
Peter.
I think it could be used very effectively in a kind of a bit of both going on, a bit of live contact and a bit of remote.
Yeah.
It'd be quite nice to blend it all together, kind of style thing.
Yeah.
So, for folks, for yous out there that's all over the world, Douglas is the violin fiddle teacher in the schools in Orkney. How many schools are you teaching in now, Douglas?
1, 2, 3. I do 4 schools. I go
4 schools now.
to the secondary school in Kirkwall, and then I do what they call the feeder schools, some of the wee primary schools that then go
Okay.
feed on into the grammar school, and that's great because it means I'll sometimes see a pupil for maybe 10 or 11 years in a row, and
Fantastic.
you get to ken them and they get to ken you, and it makes for a very relaxed relationship, and hopefully it means they can get the best out of me and I can get the best out of them.
Yeah, it's really nice when you're following your pupils through, as you say, and can take them right through to the exam level and take them right through. And is there other fiddle teachers in Orkney as well then, at other schools?
Yeah, we're very lucky here. We have a good instrumental music service. We what they call the upper strings, lots of violin and fiddle teachers, and we have a lower strings tutor and brass and woodwind, and then we also have guitar and some percussion through the YMI project. So we're really lucky. I mean, it's still free in the county here. There was 10, 15 years ago, there was the big shout for all authorities to go down the paid route, but the local council here stood their ground and kept it free, so it meant it was fair for everybody, which has really been a brilliant thing.
Yeah, it's good for Orkney, that is. It's good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So, well, we're going to chat away about that. That's your teaching. We'll chat about what you enjoy and things. We've got plenty of time. You're not in a hurry to go to bed, are you?
No, I've actually poured myself a dram, so
Oh, well done.
we'll be
You've got
fine,
that.
I think.
Ross is having a wee bit of bother with internet tonight. He's kind of breaking up and hearing us back and forward, but I don't know, are you hearing us now? How are you getting on?
My internet's not good at all. I think that's what you asked me there, Peter. Douglas, lovely to meet you. I think I heard you say something about a dram, so that's what I did here. That's great.
You would hear that, of course. Right, anyway. But, so, you haven't got the fiddle. You don't fancy giving us a wee tune, do you? To start things off.
Yeah, well, I could do.
That would be awful good.
Just funny enough, I have a fiddle right here.
Oh, just like one I prepared earlier.
Well, I thought I should maybe play I have a couple of tunes I was wanting to play you.
Right.
The first tune was a tune from the New Chair album, written by our accordion player, Bob Gibbon. You'll maybe ken Bob wears various hats. He's a farmer. He's a farmer from Orford, but he also runs the Orkney Folk Festival, or he's
He
one of the
does that.
guys. He's the guy that books the bands, and
Main man. And unfortunately, he's had to phone me 2 years in a row now and cancel me.
I
But
know.
I'm booked for next year again.
Good. Oh, well, we'll
So,
definitely
but-
see then.
It's in the calendar. So
So Bob wrote this tune quite a few years ago now for his granny. He called it Margaret Davidson. And the second tune is one of my newest tunes I wrote back in June last year during lockdown. One of my favourite primary school teachers, Alison Aitken, after about 40 years working in the school, she's retired, and I thought she deserved a fiddle tune. So I wrote this tune, and it was named by one of the parents, which was really nice. She's got a bit of a party trick. One of the things she does, she teaches primary one, which is, you can imagine, is probably a bit of a circus most of the time. But she's got a trick. She's got a trick that she does, that when bairns do things well, she stands up on the table and she dances, and I just thought that's brilliant.
oh, I see.
So she the tune. The second tune I'm going to play is called "Dancing on the Tables."
I'll tell you what, my bairns wouldn't thank me dancing on a table. There wouldn't be much left of the table. Take it away, Douglas.
I remember the last time I was dancing on the table and it didn't end well. And for anybody that was in the front bar of the Royal Hotel, I'll apologise right now with that. Anyway,
Yes.
here we go.
Yeah, take it away.
It's been a while.
Well done, Douglas. It's fantastic. Brilliant. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep sharing the show out there. Loads of people watching tonight. That's fantastic, all over the world. And please remember and put into us where you're listening from. It's always really nice for us to be able to see where people are. It's always a very two-way thing, a musician playing to their audience, and this way it's more the musician playing and we don't get to see the audience. So anything you want to ask or whatever, just come in. There's somebody saying, such a clear tone and well played. Well done, Douglas. That's great. So, and Salvi, they're out in Malaga, I think Salvi is. So, yeah, so there we go. So tell me, can I take you back to you learning? Where did that come about?
Well, I was very lucky when I was growing up. There was fiddles in me granny's house, and I was the second last in the grandbairns. And my granny played, and her dad and her uncles all played, but nobody in the next me mother's generation, none of them played. Just after the war, they were busy getting everything else up and running, and somehow it missed a generation. But I managed to get my hands on one of the fiddles, and it was a friend of my grandfather's who had been a fiddle teacher in the 1950s and the 1960s in the next island. I live on one of the South Isles, connected with the Churchill Barriers.
Okay.
I live in Bury, and the pal of my granddad's, he was just a brilliant fiddler, violinist. After he kind of picked up the fiddle. His name was Wally Sinclair. He was brilliant. Right. He was he kind of picked up the fiddle when he was in his later year, probably 16, 17, before he started playing. And then he got enlisted into the war, and he joined the Navy. And when he came back, there wasn't enough work for him on the farm, his dad's farm of what's called Brayland. You maybe heard of the Brayland boys, the Braylanders.
Oh, yes.
Will Kent, Orkney Band, that's his sons.
Right.
But he decided he would go off and study. He could play a main fiddle by that time anyway, but he decided he wanted to go off and study more, and he went down to Edinburgh and spent a few years doing there learning mainly classical violin, and then he came back to Orkney, and he kind of spread that his kind of technique and his love of music. He spread across probably 1950s, 1960s. Then he stopped. There was more work on the farm. His dad was getting more elderly, and he decided to stop teaching and go back into farming. And then in the early 80s, he was visiting me granny and granddad one day, and my mum was doing, and she said, Douglas, he's keen to learn to play the fiddle. Any chance you would give him some lessons? And he went, no, I don't teach the fiddle anymore, but come by, and I'll tell you if it's worth to go and get fiddle lessons or no. So he took us by, and this is, bear in mind, this is a farmer, okay, a guy who's probably out shoveling whatever, an hour beforehand. When I arrived, he was dressed in a suit and tie, and he was practicing something, I don't know, something like Sean Rosemarine or Intermezzo Cavaliera Rusticana, or something. At the time, I was so young, I just thought, wow, who is this guy? And he met us at the door. He took us in, and I spent about 4 hours with him. And he had, at the end of the night, we had supper, and we broke and had a break, and got back together. And then he's end of the night, we were leaving, and my mother said, so is it worth trying to find some fiddle lessons for Douglas? And he just went, just come back next week. For 5 years later, I got lessons with him, and he was just tremendous.
Fantastic.
Every Friday we would get lessons, and he was such an inspiration. And then he became ill, and I got lessons in school then. Some fantastic teachers there. Kathy Johnson, Les Child. I was lucky to get lessons with a gentleman called Peter Monkton, and a couple of other ones that slips me memory just now. Probably because the
So did you then further that? Did you go and study music yourself after that?
I did. I kind of decided in third year at school, when I had to choose my subjects, that I kind of went against the grain, because the only thing I could really do was music. But my family were kind of pushing me to go do music, so I decided not to do music. I did accounts, and I quickly realised I was rubbish at accounts, which I still am. And in fifth year I picked up music again, and then I went off to study music in Edinburgh, and that was fantastic. Got some great instruction there, all about harmony, theory, mainly classical music. But when I was in Edinburgh at the time, it was the early 90s, there was such a bubbling folk music scene every night of the week. There was something on. Monday night was bluegrass night. Tuesday night there was swing. It was called at the time. So it was Swing 93 or Swing 94, in a bar called the Malt Shovel. If anybody can mind that one, it's an amazing bar.
I do.
in Coburn Street. It was my first encounter with real ale and jazz.
Oh, okay.
And you know, every night of the week there was someone else on, and there's like there was so many great musicians bubbling about Edinburgh at the time. On a Saturday, a lot of my pals for the course, they would go home. So it was all the Highlanders and the Islanders were left to go and make their way in the big bad city, and quite often we'd go down to a bar in Leith, and it was hosted by the Sugar Nifty Boys. Which it was just I got
so that was just a lot of quiet nights, quiet weekends.
There wasn't many nights in, I'll tell you that. But it was great. I got an awful lot out of it.
It's fantastic when you say about the accounts thing. I sometimes wonder. My sister's an accountant, and she's in Edinburgh, and I went the other road. I wanted the music thing, but she went to accounts, and she drives a Porsche now, and I don't. So, so if you're any good at
bad
it,
accountant anyway.
So that's the way it goes. But that's great. So then you come back to Orkney.
Yeah, I was all the time. I was away studying. I was in a band with some mates for home here, and they're called the Smoking Stone Band. And essentially, we were a bluegrass band.
Yeah.
We played a lot of Scottish tunes, a lot of Orkney tunes, mixed in with with a 5-string banjo player, Chim Hall. He's still in the island here. He's absolutely brilliant. Probably traditional, more 5-string. What's the name of the guy? Is it Eric Weisberg? Is that the guy?
Could be.
Oh, I can't remember. The guy that does the certain style of picking. He was definitely in that school, and a mandolin player called Dick Levins. We actually, in 1995 was the first year we came up to Shetland.
Right. I've heard of the band.
Davy Henderson took us up, and we were kind of the house band in the Islesborough Centre.
Yeah.
So we played there every night, and we kind of hosted the concerts. And that was my first ever music festival outside Orkney, which it was something else. I mean, I was just a young fella. It was just I was blown away by all the different styles of music at the folk festival. I was blown away with the musicianship of the locals. It really whetted me appetite for music. It really got me going. You know, it was a great experience.
Yeah, I mean the festivals up here are good, but I really enjoyed the Orkney Festival too. Though we love coming down to that one as well. That's just a brilliant festival, you know.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. I love both, and they're very different.
Yes, they are. Yeah,
they both have their merits, you know.
I've just always found the Orkney folk so friendly and that as well. It's just fantastic, you know. And it's just
I find the same when I go to Shetland, so it's it's maybe just
when we arrived at the last Orkney Folk Festival to play, it was I plugged my accordion in and the electronic bit stopped it working, and you were, oh no, but. If you'd been anywhere else in the world, that would have been a problem. But it was a couple of phone calls, and Linklater lent me an accordion for a weekend, and that was us sorted, you know. So thanks to him, he kept the show going. Yeah, that's Carden put that on. That was our honeymoon Orkney Folk Festival. It was when we went down one year. You remember the year we done the big thing with the Shetland and the Orkney thing at the Picky Centre?
Oh, the Gathering.
The Gathering. Well, maybe talk about that in a wee while. I tell you sent me a couple of videos, so maybe play one of the videos just now. You sent me one of you and Brian with Saltfish 40. How did that come about then? That just kent each other for years and started playing? Or?
Yeah, well, I suppose me and Brian go back an awful long way. We were at school together. I was the class above him. Always a little bit older and a little bit wiser. And we both actually there was two common threads we had. One, we played football, pretty much opposing midfielders, and so we came croppers either side of that, and then we found out that we were both played music, and I used to kind of stand in and play a bit of guitar, and he was in a rock band at the time, and
Right.
so I got roped in there, and then there was one gig that he got asked to go and do in Stronsey, one of the North Isles, and the deal they were quite a heavy rock band, and to get that gig they had to have a fiddler because they needed a fiddler to play for some of the Scottish dancing. So he came and phoned me and said, Douglas, would you come and play fiddle for us that night? So that was kind of the start of it. And I no long after that I started going out with his sister, and I ended up marrying his sister, and
Well, there you go then.
3 bairns, and that's the rest is history. We kind of did a band called the Silver Penguins.
That's right. Remember the Penguins as well.
Yeah, we that was great fun, and then that kind of morphed into the Saltfish 40, I guess.
Well, let's hear that wee track then, maybe just now for you and Brian, because Brian's a great musician as well, fantastic musicians, brilliant, both of you. Hey, that's great. That's magic. Really, really great. There's so many folk just putting comments in here saying how much they're enjoying it. Oh, here's Ross back. Hello, Ross. Not sure
Hi
if you can
there.
hear us
I've tried
better
a
than
different
something
way of getting in.
else. We're kind of getting you. There we are. It's I wouldn't bother with internet.
Right, don't let me interrupt. I'm having it.
I'm having internet trouble, so don't let me
No problem.
interrupt.
No
Douglas,
bother.
you've been a cracking guest. I'll look forward to looking at this when it goes back out.
Jeez, we'll get a yarn with you sometime, I'm sure.
Yeah. That's good. We'll get him. We'll club together and buy him a mast or something. That's it. So, but no. Tell me, you mentioned briefly there the gathering. You had quite a bit to do with that, didn't you?
Well, yeah. The gathering was a super project to be involved with.
Yeah, it was amazing.
I probably just helped gather it together. Really, excuse the words, but it really was quite an easy thing to hold together, because I think it kind of felt like you were kind of representing your country at a kind of like football or rugby or something. It was what a feeling it was on the stage, to get all the musicians together. So I think the first one was about 2011, and I can't remember how many. It was about 10 people in what I would call the house band, the guys that stayed on the stage for most of the time. And then we had guests in, maybe 10, 15 guests, something like that.
Yeah.
And it was almost like a greatest hits of everybody who was involved. So we had the likes of Billy Jolly from Hullion would do his party piece. We had Billy Peace, a fantastic accordion player. He would do his party piece. Chris Drever would do his thing. So it was almost like a greatest hits of a concert, and it worked tremendously. And they kind of hid the backing of the house band, and everybody played together, worked together, and it just worked. It was super.
Billy Jolly was a real character as well. He was. I remember the gathering I done with you guys in the Picky Centre. I remember we'd ought to bang, what was it, spoons or pots or something like that. And it was a song about
the sea.
Yeah, stuff about it. It was great fun. It was great.
Yeah.
Great to do it all. So,
No,
but yeah, and then you come up here and done that one as well. And then another thing we done was with the other band, you worked with the chair. We done a thing up at the folk festival up here and in Orkney actually. We done it both times. Remember, with Full Scaly.
Intertunity, that was a fantastic.
Intertunity, we called it. It wasn't the Intercunty, it was the Intertunity.
Intertunity, that was both that gigs in the Clickerman and the Strumness School was just amazing.
They were just electric, weren't they?
They were
just electric.
And you know, it was that feeling. It was, if anybody's between Orkney and Shetland, we've got this kind of sporting thing called the Intercounty, and it's really highly competitive, but also it's almost like a friendship thing where you kind of if you've been playing for your team, you're friends with your opposition for life kind of thing. So they had this musical version of that. It was brilliant. I remember the one in Orkney. We all wore Orkney tracksuits.
That's right.
It was doing press ups and sit ups and playing the trombone and all daft things. It was absolutely brilliant.
Because I mind putting that together when we had done it even up at Shetland, and everybody just kind of arrived and we were shooting back through the back, remember, and kind of put a show together. It was just amazing. It was just it was, but a bunch of great musicians and everybody just really enjoying it, and it was just it was.
In a way, that was the precursor to the gathering. You know, that was like I remember the opportunity. The even in that back room where we were rehearsing at Clickerman, it was one of the sports changing rooms.
Yeah, kind of smelt the old sweaty socks and everything.
But you know, I remember it well. It was just great, and you know, when there's that kind of that feeling going on amongst the musicians, the audience can smell that. They know that that's going on, and they absolutely feed off that. It makes for a tremendous night, you know.
I remember the two bands going on stage, and it was a massive lineup because, I mean, how many's in the chair? There was a lot of.
8.
How many have you got? Well, you got about 10?
8 of us.
8 in the chair?
Yeah.
And then we had about 11.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Troop was the sound man, and I thought, poor Jimmy. But he done an amazing job here, you know, these people jumping about. And then folks said, can I play 2 or 3 instruments? Oh, yeah, that'd be brilliant, you know. But it was really good fun. And as Carden said, that was our honeymoon the first time we went into the gathering at the Intercounty thing done by. So it was really good.
Wow.
Absolutely brilliant. So, have you got another wee tune you fancy playing for us there before we?
Yeah,
Do you want to
I
do a
have.
live one?
I don't know if it
Is that Highland Park? Is that Highland Park?
I'm
you
actually
think?
on water now. This is water, so
Oh,
I just
okay.
have one little one on a school night.
Oh yeah, of course.
Uh,
Yeah, we're back tomorrow night. So yeah, that's right.
yeah. So
It's Monday again before we can what's happened. This year's went incredibly quick. You know, it was a year last night since we done our last booking.
Oh really? My
Yeah.
word.
So that's a year gone. It seems like it's gone quick until you think back about a situation and you think, oh, that seems like a while ago. I don't know what it is. It's a funny
Yeah.
feeling. So, but we'll get there again. We'll get there again. What do you fancy giving us?
I don't know. I'm over prepared as usual. Got nothing really to
That's
play.
all right.
I
Well,
know-
this is what we.
I know my brother's listening.
Yeah.
So I should maybe play a tune for him and Dad. Now, what should I
Go on.
play?
Remember, folks out there, if you're wanting to ask any questions or send comments in, please do so. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, I'm gonna play a tune I wrote for my mum and dad a 2.5 years ago when they celebrated their 50th wedding anniversary.
Fantastic.
And it's called the How Hornpipe, which is the name of the house that we were all brought up in, and the name of the house that Dad still lives at.
And what does how mean?
I think it's just a welcome.
A welcome.
Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Take it away, sir.
Something like that.
Fantastic. Lovely wee tune. Yeah, great. Do you have a particular kind of music you enjoy playing more than others, or are you quite happy floating about?
Yeah, I don't really. I don't think I have a favourite. I mean, I don't know. I kind of look upon. If you were to sit down and have a meal, I don't think you'd sit and have lentils for your starter, main, and pudding. I think you'd have a variety, and you'd have meat and veg, and maybe a cup of tea at the end or whatever. So I quite like the variety.
Yeah, absolutely.
I kind of have to program my brain depending on which project I'm on at the time.
Yeah.
I suppose traditional music is where I probably spend most of my time these days.
Yeah.
I do kind of wander into a bit of blues or rock or.
Yeah.
I used to play a lot of classical, but not so much anymore. I kind of miss it too, to be honest.
Right. And I've seen you quite often using pedals with the fiddle and all sorts of things for effects.
Yeah.
But it's good.
I quite
good,
enjoy
yeah.
that too. Yeah, it's quite fine for a change.
So there was somebody asking there where the best place. Well, there was the Saltfish 40 one. What on the Saltfish 40 website? Do you sell the CDs from there, or have you got CDs for sale?
I think so. I'm not
You
sure.
think so?
Actually, there's a link. There's a link here because our head of retail is Albert Linkletter's wife,
Oh yeah.
Anne, and I'll give her a plug right now. Anne
Alright.
is Brian's mother-in-law.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
Anne's a
Brian's
lovely.
married to Eileen. It's a family
Yes,
show.
yes. Yeah,
So
Anne's a lovely woman.
Anne
Lovely woman.
is very lovely, and she does all our online sales. So if you get Anne a phone, she lives in Stromness. Just go past her, you'll find her. She'll get the CDs. But I think you get them on the website. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there'll be a contact on the website there, or I'm sure you'll be selling them somewhere. And that'll take me to the other band you're working with, the Chair. So how did the Chair come about? That was that kind of growed on for Saltfish, or?
Well, no, not really. The Chair, I guess, was, we were a bunch of pals that used to meet on a Sunday in one of the pubs in Kirkwall. It was a great session in the Bothy, and we used to meet there, and we kind of formed a band the one year. It was called Montgomery Firth, funny enough. Michelle and Gavin Firth played guitar.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we had Chris Drever on double bass, and Eric Lawton played Bran, and Bob Gibbon played the accordion. And we played at the Harry Hall at the Folk Festival, and we did a few other bits and pieces. And the next year kind of came round quite quick, and the local band at the time that did all the stomps, called Three Piece Suite, they were a fantastic band with pipers and fiddlers, and just a great band.
Yeah.
They couldn't play the stomp, so we decided to basically take that Montgomery Firth band and get Eric to jump on the drum kit, and we got a guy called Chaz Milne to play the bass.
Okay.
And at that point, I think that was about it. We got, I think at the first gig, Fia MacArthur came up and did a guest slot, and so did Chris Stute. Chris Stute was there with the Findlay MacDonald band.
Okay.
And at that time, Brian was still in Aberdeen, but he was home, and he was the sound engineer for that gig.
All right.
And then a few years later, Brian moved home, and we decided we could do a little bit of banjo in the band, and then Brian joined, and he took his cousin Robbie with him, and Robbie plays percussion. I always say it's bongos, but that annoys him, so I better not say
All right. All right. Yeah.
it's definitely not the bongos, Robbie.
But we know what you mean when you say bongos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was super. Like we, I suppose Saltfish 40, we'd gone off and we'd done a few festivals. The one in particular, I remember back in the early 2000s was Hebkelt, and at that time, the Chair was just starting off, and I mind standing at the back of the big tent in Stornoway, and I was thinking, would it not be great to take the Chair and play on this stage?
Yeah.
And it was a dream of mine to be able to do that.
Yeah.
And lucky enough, a couple of years later, we got to do it, and I was so excited that night. It's just incredible.
But the Chair's been incredibly successful. You've done very, very well. And the track I was building up to with the Chair here, you sent me a video. It's the one at the Trad Awards.
Ah, yeah. That's a
and that was an amazing set. I remember playing this set along with you. I think when we done the the intertunity thing, I think this turned up somewhere. But it's a cracking set, and there's that tune at the end that just blows the place to pieces, and it's just it's really jumping. So, but on this one you've got a quartet or something at the background as well, haven't you, with the strings?
Yeah, that's probably a precursor of Farah.
All right, okay.
With some friends, we had Sarah McFadden and her husband Joey played cello, and I think it was the Farah lasses, Kristen Harvey and Louise Bicken, Gina Leslie, I think's in there.
Yeah, Gina, I think so. Yeah,
I can't remember if Katrina was there or no. I can't remember.
Sure, we had Kristen on as a guest one night as well. It was great having her on.
Did she behave?
Reasonably well, aye. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's good.
Did you teach Kristen at the school? Did you?
Not at school. I took her privately for a few years.
Okay. So, super player as well.
Oh, it's just amazing. She always was.
Fantastic.
Didn't need to tell her very much. She just did it naturally.
That's the kind I like, when you just draw it out them a wee bit, don't you? You just
sometimes you don't even need to hint at it. You can just.
let's help you get this music out. It's a nice position to be in. It's not.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's have a wee listen to this. This is the MG Trad Awards. Were you did you do quite a big set at that night, or did you do two or
Yeah,
three numbers?
we did. I think we did the opening spot at that.
Brilliant.
And then
Well, it
we
was
never-
certainly some atmosphere, and when you hear this here, I suppose that's the thing we do miss as live musicians, don't we? We miss that, just that buzz that's round about us. You know, that's the thing that's missing just now. But hopefully we'll get some back at some point in time. That'd be great. Anyway, here you go. Take it away with the chair. If you've not heard the chair before, folks, you're going to want to buy CDs of this, guys, because this is amazing. Brilliant. Fantastic, Douglas. Well, folks, if you've never heard the chair before, there you go. There's countless comments coming in here, Douglas. There's loads and loads and loads and loads. We're going to put everything up on the screen, but to tell you, you've just had comments from South Africa, Australia, Spain, Holland, just to name a few. There's comments coming in from everywhere. People just loving it and saying, where can we get the CDs, blah, 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 blah. There's the Chairs website, folks, lovethechair.com. If you fancy a CD, they'll be for sale on there, are they, Douglas?
Yeah, I think so. Again, I'll refer back to Anne Linklater.
Well, I'm sure Anne. I'll tell Anne to get in touch with us and we'll put it on our Facebook page. That's the best thing to do. But no, if you've never seen the Chair, it's absolutely incredible. They're a great band. And they're just electric on stage, and it's a happy band, isn't it? It's a happy band. You can finally hear the bongos coming through there.
That's what I was thinking. I said a wee bit of a solo there for Robbie.
Oh, fantastic. So somebody was asking if you've got any tune books out.
No, but funny enough, next year will be a wee bit of a landmark for Saltfish 40, and we were hoping to have a wee tune book for that.
Oh.
Brian writes some fantastic tunes.
He does, yeah.
He's got some great tunes, so we were hoping to put together a book for that.
That
So
would be great.
hopefully in the next year we'll maybe have one.
Great stuff. If you keep us in touch with that as well, and because that would be fantastic. I'm sure that would be a big seller. There's been a lot of books come out this year in lockdown and things, and I've even managed to get 2 out, which is unbelievable. I've been sitting for about 30 years promising myself I'd bring a book out, but never got around to it. So I didn't have any excuse this time, and Karen said get on with it. So that was it. So and there was a fellow, Davy Hunter, down in Dundee, done mine for me, and what a great guy to work with. He just put it all together, printers, then it arrived at the house, and that was just perfect. It was
I know Davey.
magic.
He's a great piper.
Yeah, he's a great piper. Yeah, he's a nice lad, Davy.
Yeah, we actually
But he's
did a
been
gig
fantastic.
together once.
All right, fantastic to work with the print and stuff. He just sorts it like that, and nowadays it's really good because we can bring books out, can't we? We're not waiting to proof stuff, getting post and all this. You can send somebody something and say, "Is that right now?" And they see it on the computer and they go, "Ah, yeah, that's it," or "No, change that note." And so you get somebody that knows what they're doing, like Davey at the other end. It's a doddle, you know. It's really easy then. So have you got any projects for the upcoming wee while, or just waiting like everybody else to see what happens?
Well, yeah, I mean, definitely waiting around, hoping that something will happen this year yet.
Yeah.
Right now, there's we've got a couple of projects on with the school, which has been really great. We're doing a project with the Aberdeenshire Youth Folk Band with Sharon Hassan.
Cool.
She sent us some polkas and a lovely tune by John Somerville to lay down some tracks. So that's great. Things like that has been kept everybody going this year. So we'll lay down that tracks and send it to Sharon, and there'll be hopefully the start of something that'll lead on to something else.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's-
funny, when the Tunes in the House thing came out, when we started that, actually it's our first anniversary next week of Tunes in the House as well.
Gee whiz.
And when Martin got in touch with me and said, what about we do this and do a collaboration site thing and that's been hugely successful. There's been about over 900 musicians involved with that now or something for all over the world, which is fantastic. And I mean, it's had 3.5 million views now or something like that. It's doing pretty well. But it just shows you how popular our music still is. And there's people out there that like our music and want to hear it, you know. And one of the things I'm working on just now is like yourself, school projects, and that is just putting one together with all my pupils, the accordions, and they're all going to be on screen at once, you know, a great big band of them, you know, playing. So a fiddler's hell, 30 accordion players together, you know.
That's not bad. That's great.
So you've got that school project and anything else on the go?
Well, Brian and myself have just been involved with a project with Bruce McGregor from Blazing Fiddles.
Yeah.
There's the great Doddy Weir, rugby player, has been raising the profile of it motor neuron disease now
Yeah.
for the last couple of years, and Bruce has written a fiddle tune called Doddie's Dream, and we've laid doing some tracks for that, and that's coming out in a couple of weeks. And that's
Right.
a lovely project. All proceeds of that is going into the Doddie Aid
Yeah.
fund. So
I saw it advertised somewhere the other day as well, and it's got an incredible lineup, isn't it? It's huge.
yeah, it's amazing. I mean, not only kind of blazing fiddles and Bruce, and there's players on it like Jerry Douglas and Julie Fowlis and Nicola Benedetti.
Yeah, and
Couple of
Douglas
duffers for
Montgomery.
Orkney.
And
Couple of
Douglas
duffers,
Montgomery. Yeah. Well, fantastic when you're up there and amongst that, and it must be a great project to work on. So,
Super
but
to be asked.
the one that's really nice to come out. But anyway, Douglas, thank you so much for coming on tonight, giving up your time on a Sunday. Remember, folks, if you want to check out Saltfish 40 or The Chair, go onto the equivalent websites. Mind, this is all recorded, so you can look back on this. You don't have to write it all down just now. And I'm sure if everything louses up some point and we can travel again, he'd be delighted to see you in Orkney sometime as well.
Absolutely.
See the band live, couldn't have beat it. So, Douglas, thank you very much. All the best to you and the family. Take care. Stay safe. Say hello to all the lads in the band when you can.
Will do.
And keep that teaching going.
Yeah,
You're
well,
doing
thanks for
an
having
amazing
us.
job, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming on as a guest. It's been brilliant having you.
You're welcome.
And Ross sends his apologies, but his internet just let him down. Right? But we'll make him pay back for it sometime. Douglas, thanks very much. Take care.
Thank you.
Cheers,
Cheers.
then. Cheers. Well, there we go, folks. That's been an amazing, brilliant night again. Thanks to Karen backstage there for holding it together. Internet's been a bit flaky tonight for us. Ross has had a lot of trouble with his internet tonight, and he's really apologetic about that. But what can we do? It's just one of the things sometimes. Not everybody's lucky that they live in Shetland and Orkney and have brilliant internet, you see. So, anyway, thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed all the guests tonight. Gary West and Douglas Montgomery. And if you join us on Wednesday night at 8:30, we'll let you know who the guests are next week. We've got two stunning guests for you next week again. It's going to be a real nice programme. So, all I can say is thank you very much from me tonight, and Karen backstage, and Ross, wherever he is. He's lost in cyberspace somewhere, cyber internet-y thingy. But there we go. So it's not going to be the same doing the ending here, but it's a good night from me, and it's good night from him. Yes, I got it the right way around. See you later, folks. Good night. Take care.